that Mark can talk about, perhaps. And that's coming along. I've got
Okay.
a few more
Hi, Mr.
photos to
Sci-Fi
put in,
guys.
and that'll be ready to ship over to Mark and Elaine to take a look at, and we'll do an audio mix, and it'll go out to these people with
Mazel
very
tov.
deep pockets, and hopefully they'll say, well, that's just what we've been waiting for.
Yes.
So
Well, we're also sending that to the executive we met with today at Amazon. So that's all very, very, very exciting. You know,
They have deep pockets too.
They do indeed.
They
Yes.
do, yeah.
Yes. So we shall see what we shall see. So anything?
They published my book.
Yay!
Okay.
If you have friends who are atheists, rush out and buy that for them.
Yes, the man with the list, a picture book for grown-ups who can't believe in the unbelievable.
Yes.
And if you go over to YouTube and punch in "man list picture,"
Yes.
I read it to you.
Wow.
Animation.
Or you can go to Mr. Sci-Fi and have that as well.
That's right. We have a Mr. Sci-Fi.
That's right.
Video of it as well. So anyway, things have been busy and exciting, and hopefully heading in the right direction, and everybody's staying healthy, yada, etc., and so on. So
Cool.
Take care. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Dave. Yay! So great. So I don't think there are any Mr. Sci-Fi questions yet.
No, but Scott Baker says happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday. Yay.
Okay,
Thank you. It was a great birthday. It was great. So I'm very, very happy. So okay, cool. So I guess Nina, can we understand you now, do you think? We can take a run at it if you want to take your turn. Can we hear you? Yeah. Okay. What do you think? We'll see what happens.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
We are. And
Nice. Sorry.
yeah, taxi driver.
Are you talking to me?
Taxi driver. Yeah. Okay.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
I had to put my phone on to just eradicate any issues.
Of course.
Like that.
Of course.
Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
That's fuck.
Yeah.
Things are moving along. Writing that 4-woman show for singers.
Great.
And already did a consultation with guitarist for other musicians, since I don't know very many people here yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to really get good musicians is thing. And you guys are magic. I'm just telling you, you people are magic. Just from talking to you guys last week or the week before, can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
I had to skip. Yeah, I had dental work done last week. Okay, so just to talking with Elaine and Mark and Adam and Mark Agashawashkawis mentioned different ideas of how to make the short film happen. Because I don't know any people here.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, I was talking it over with Kim, my honey, and he said, well, Andrew, who Kim did music for this wonderful film about solidarity, about the school strikes in this area. And he did the score, and he said, Andrew would probably love to shoot it. He's told me if I ever need something to let him know, because I gave him a ton of stuff for free.
Wow.
And so I've got a DP.
Huh.
Yay.
Cool.
Before I even finish the script, but it's coming. And already looking at a class just to figure out how to direct it. It's not going to be this huge, long project. It's not going to even be 20 minutes, but it's going to be very specific, and I want to make sure that I do it with respect to everybody who works on it, so have some information besides my instincts.
Great.
Which would be nice. So thank you for all those great ideas. I'm looking for funding about this with the school and with the film bureau, which I wrote down.
Great.
And I'm going to go sing tonight. So things are good.
Yay! 3 cheers.
So thank you, and have a great week.
Great. Thank you, Nina. Thank you. Yay! Probably GoFundMe is another place to raise money. So, Adam, is there a Mr. Sci-Fi question now that you're here with us?
Did you guys read the Scott Baker question yet?
No.
No, I was about to. That's the character in Space Command. You can do that one.
Yeah. Scott Baker wants to know, is there a character in Space Command that believes in the oneness of all things? I believe it's called monism.
There's a philosophy underlying Space Command that compassion and empathy and the human race has one one race is key. It's not the same as believing that, you know, a tree is the same as your Uncle Eddie or whatever, but yes, so we do have that. So let's see.
That's like the Buddhist who walks up to the hot dog vendor.
Yes.
And says,
Make me one with everything.
Make me one with everything. Yes.
Well, there you go, and that's a wonderful joke that will live forever. So
And a great demonstration on how to step on the punchline.
yes, and I can also there's that great cartoon, I think maybe Shel Silverstein, of Moses coming down with the 3 tablets from Mount Sinai. Then he drops one and it breaks, so he just goes down with the 2 tablets.
Well, that was Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks, that's very
Destroy the
funny.
World by One.
That's great. That's great.
Needs 15 crash.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. That's funny. So I guess, Carol, I guess you're next on my screen. Do you want to take your turn?
Thank you. Feliz cumpleaños y muchos más. Happy birthday and many more. And just know how you're doing such a wonderful thing. I mean, I still look forward to this because it's my one time I don't have to be on or professional or anything.
Right.
Sure.
So I found this. This is here's me. When I was in I Want to Hold Your Hand.
Wow.
It's a Steven Spielberg Bob Zemeckis movie.
That's great.
And this is my darling Teresa Saldana. We were also in the Jackie
Wow.
Mason show.
Wow.
And then I got a phone call from Nancy Allen one day saying Teresa died, and no one knew how. No
Wow.
one still knows how she died.
Wow.
No one knows how. She had a wonderful career. So there's me and there's her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh,
Jesus.
I know. What a weird thing. Okay, so I wear all different kinds of glasses because they're too light. Let me see. Oh, I'm very available for table reads.
Great.
Last week, when that sweet Sydney Lamb needed someone to sing the Chuck, I sang it in my confirmation, not alone with the group.
Wow.
So I told him in the chat. He gave me his number, and I called him. I didn't put my name ready. I just went, boy, Chuck, I sang the song to him on the phone.
That's great.
Does Carol feel my phone number is? So if he needs it, I'd love
Yes.
to do that for him.
Huh.
I mean, there is a beautiful scene in Schindler's List where they employ that song. Too.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. It's a beautiful song. It says, with everything else, we must also be absorbed with the alphabet.
Yes.
Learning.
Yes.
Learning.
Wow.
You know, it's so nice, so nicely Jewish.
Yes.
Let's see. Yeah. Okay, I'll just skip to this. I told you my friend was being produced, her stuff was being produced, and I knew the producer, and I didn't want to horn in on her.
Yes.
But she said, just call her in and say something nice. So I called her and said something nice, and she called the producer for me. And
Wow.
This woman, Alexia, remembers me from the Pitch Festival from 2019. She
Wow.
only saw 12 people. And she did remember, which I still am not totally buying. Maybe that's my low self-esteem. I'm not sure. I'm not totally buying, but we've had some phone conversations. So that's very nice. And I don't know. I have all this stuff. I don't know. I'll keep you posted.
Great.
I just have one question.
Yes.
What does the standard Bible consist of? I mean, is it usually 1 page, 30 pages? Is always different?
There's different kinds of series Bibles. There's the Selling Bible. Then there used to be what was called a Writer's Bible, which was for freelance writers to know what had been done on the show. You really don't have those anymore because the internet has sort of taken that spot. A Writer's Bible. There's some people who say never give out the Writer's Bible to the people you're pitching to. Other people say it's fine to. I like to keep things short. You know, I would say 7 pages, maybe 10 pages, certainly not more than that. But in a way, the pitch deck has sort of superseded that as well. It's basically whatever works. I mean, what I'm finding is working well for me right now are videos that very effectively pitch what I'm talking about. You know, but whether that'll continue to work, I have no idea. You know, eventually it may be cranial implants. Who knows? But you know, I just the reason you write a series Bible is so that you know where the hell the show goes and who the main characters are and all that. But you don't want to drown people in detail because they get lost very easily. And the moment they're lost, they're gone. They're thinking about where they're going to have lunch. But so that's some of it. You know,
that's why you keep it very short
Right.
and snappy.
Make it easy for them to understand
and
it.
say, here's the basics of the show.
Yes.
And here are the characters. And you make, you know, little brief things about each character. If you can do a drawing or a picture, that's great. But when you're doing that, make it clear, oh, I can see how this character rubbing up against that character would be very interesting.
Uh-huh.
So I'm understanding when you say that this character rubbing up against this character, I can see a whole bunch of shows based on that.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
so you have like your main characters and then lesser characters, but again, don't go overboard, especially if you have a lot of characters. Just hit the key characters because you don't want them to get lost. And so you say, here's the main characters, here are the main themes. Keep it
Yes.
lively, art. Just picture that they're drowning in this stuff, and anything you can do to make it entertaining, colorful, easy to read, and that you really hit the heart of your series. And where I understand, however long you want it to go, I understand, oh, this would be a great mini series. Oh, yes, I could see this going 3 seasons.
Yes.
How many episodes now is it?
Well, it keeps shifting. I mean, the common wisdom used to be that you needed at least 100 episodes of a series for it to be able to be successful in syndication. But everything's so different now. Now that people basically binge watch a show, it's like the individual seasons get shorter and shorter. Now it used to be 13 was the number. Now it's 10 is the number. Who knows? I mean, it's so I wouldn't even worry about that. I would just make the show work. Make it work.
You don't have to break it down. Just give me a sense that there's going to be shelf life.
Yes.
And that there'll be enough choices going on where I can see the story being like a mini novel.
Yes.
And I can understand, it's not going to be a very good pilot and out. It's going to be something that I see has sufficient life in it to last a while.
Yeah. And there you
really
go.
Helpful.
Yeah. So anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. Yay. 3 cheers. So Adam, is there a Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes, but first,
Uh-oh.
Nina had a question.
Yes. Yes,
I
Nina.
kind of want to know too.
What?
Okay.
And I think it'd be very helpful for those of us who are still, even though I've been here 5 years,
Yes.
still learning the lingo.
Yes.
What exactly is involved in what exactly is a series Bible?
A series Bible, there are 2 different terms. A series Bible can be a pitch document where you're basically laying out who the characters are, what the pilot is, what the basic arc of the show over a season or 2 or 3 is. Basically the engine that drives the show, but in a very short document. And you may not share that document with the network. You may actually just use it to educate yourself to then go in and pitch it. Or you can. Some people leave them behind as well. It varies. There used to be a series Bible on a show that was up and running, and that would be, let's say you had a freelancer come in. This is particularly when shows were not on home video or they weren't in a situation where you could readily watch them, once they aired. That would give you all of the basics of who the characters were, what the episodes were that had been done, guidelines for the writers, and that would be much longer. That could be 30 pages, but now that we can watch shows whenever we want, episodes of almost any show, and also, go on the internet and find out what the gist of a show is, you don't really have those anymore. And the first series Bible I ever read that was that kind of Bible was the Bible for Star Trek. Gene Roddenberry put copies of that out via his company, and that was a fascinating document, really terrific.
But really, a Bible is you have the basics of the show.
Yes.
If you can put in any kind of artwork, that's great. But here's the premise of the show. Here's the world of the show. Here's the characters of the show.
Yes.
Here are like 2 or 3 slightly longer summaries of sample episodes, and then like a number of jumping off like single sentences of this happens and then this happens. So you get just a basic feeling of the show itself, and making it as lively and clear as possible. That's why they call it the Bible, because it's the real basics of the show. The 2 different ways of thinking are, and you're going to get everybody to disagree with this.
Yes.
They disagree with each other. One is, I want to leave it behind so it's clear, and whoever tells their boss, the pitcher I was pitching to tells their big boss, or even if you pitch to the big boss, they'll have it in hand and they won't forget it and they won't mess it up. The other theory is don't leave anything behind, is one of the biggest things you sell is your own excitement. And if you're just handing off a piece of paper, that can be pretty tedious.
But
and,
yeah, but the reality is that different people have different ways of doing things, and ultimately at the end of the day is, are you succeeding at your goal? Your goal is to sell a show, and so that's the main thing. So, but again, the rules are always changing, they're always in flux.
But the main thing is, as you said, you convince yourself that this is not a film but a series. And sometimes we have ideas that really are films and not series, or they're mini series. So you want to know what does this material, how is this material best conveyed? And I think we all get ideas for single, for
Yes.
single films, for miniseries, and for novelistic ongoing shows. But
Yes.
the great thing for writers is that now you start at one point and you get to move along changing things and really having it be novelistic. In the old days, you had to just repeat the same formula over and over and over, so they could strip the show and put them in any order, and that was not as much fun for the audience or the writers.
No. So great. So I think that answers the question. So is there a Mr. Is there a Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yeah. There's another Scott Baker question.
Okay.
Regarding, so he wants to know, is this the penultimate combination table Mr. Sci-Fi live stream?
We don't know. We don't know.
In any case, are there plans to return to this format, or perhaps facilitate one live stream for each purpose?
I think ultimately we'll just have a camera on me all the time, 24/7. It'll be like what was that Jim Carrey movie? But
the Truman Show.
The Truman Show, exactly. But we're sort of figuring it out as we go along. Eventually we'll return to in-person meetings for the table, but we may have a video component of that. Who knows? We'll see. And
trying to accommodate as many people as possible.
I mean, yeah, it's but we'll let everyone know with plenty of warning. So now we go to Medhat Handball. Yes.
Hello.
Hi. So go for it.
Well, first thing, it's my first time here.
Hi.
Hello. I got invited by Bonnie, which is generous enough to invite me. Hi,
Great.
Bonnie. And happy birthday. Apparently, it's your birthday. So
Thank you.
I would say happy birthday. And Carol, good to see you again. We've met, I believe, at the American Film Market. Or
Nice to see you too.
you are
Great.
an attorney, and you
No. Therapist, same difference.
Psychologist?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. And you're also a singer in New York, if my memory is correct.
I'm going to live in LA.
Okay, well, there we go.
Nice to see you. It's great.
Good to see you too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm just joining. I'm listening. I'm getting to know people.
Great.
And I'm a composer. I do a lot of television here in Montreal.
Great.
And I've been going back and forth to LA. And with COVID, obviously, travel is off. But
Yes.
Zoom keeps us together.
I understand. So also, Bonnie may have mentioned you that the table is made up of thousands of members. And so there's an email component, and David Bartlett, who's up there on the screen, he can connect with you and guide you in how to get signed up for the email, so you can reach out to all several thousand members.
And
So
you can you can link people up to your site so people can, all the members of the table can hear your work.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward.
And you can also put it in the chat.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll put it in the chat. And,
Great. Terrific. So anything else?
Is there anything you need?
I'm happy to meet you all.
Oh,
Yes.
hi,
Well,
okay.
good to meet you too.
Any
Welcome.
questions?
3 cheers. Yay. So now we're for the newcomers, we're doing a simulcast with my Mr. Sci-Fi YouTube channel. So that's why we're going back and forth. So Adam, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes, there is a question from Fit to be Read. And that is, what are your thoughts on the different Stargate shows and versions?
I like the movie, particularly the director's cut. I have not really gotten deeply into the show because there's so many episodes and so many different variations, so I really don't have any opinion particularly because I just don't know. At one point I was invited to write for the show, but it's funny because when we talk about a writer's Bible, a series Bible, they didn't have one. And so they sent me this insanely detailed synopsis of every single episode that was thicker than a phone book, and it just made my head spin, and I couldn't figure out the show at all. And if I'd sat down with like a Stargate fan and just said, okay, give me the basics, I then could have generated episodes, of course, but but they didn't have that much sense to do that. So c'est la vie. But yeah, there are people who love the show, and more power to them. Bob Picardo's in it, and he's one of our Space Command actors and a wonderful actor in many things, including Star Trek Voyager. So yeah, so I think eventually I may peruse it, but again, I'm too busy making television to watch a lot of it. So sorry about that. So David Bartlett, do you want to take your turn? Oh, we can't hear you. You're still muted. There you go.
My life.
There.
So I said, sure.
Okay, great.
I'm David Bartlett. I am a filmmaker, a teacher, and a human rights advocate, and one of the producers of Space Command.
Yay!
So my career started when I was 10. I made my first film after I saw Battleship Potemkin and Lon Chaney's Phantom of the Opera.
Yes.
And I said, I want to do that.
Yeah.
So I did films in high school with the school equipment, and I did plays and things. I was acting, singing, dancing. I was building sets and doing all kinds of lighting and whatnot, and having a great time. And I went to college for 3 months because it was not at all what I wanted. So I started working in movie theaters, and I did that for 3 years. I was a manager and a projectionist and a technician. I installed Dolby units and whatnot. And then I moved to LA and started working as an intern on some very big projects with Robert Wise was one of them, director and producer of Sound of Music and West Side Story. He won 4 Oscars, and he edited a little film called Citizen Kane. He was also the president of the Motion Picture Academy for 9 years and the president of the Directors Guild for 9 years. And they stopped there because that was the maximum length that you could do. So he was a very big member of the Hollywood community. He had a career that spanned many genres, so people don't quite pin him down like you would like Alfred Hitchcock or something so much. But he was an amazing filmmaker, and I got to work with him, when I was here like 3 weeks. It was exciting. So It was so over my head what I was even learning. I didn't even know what to ask for questions, but he was very nice to me and stuck it out with me. So I started working in independent films, learning ways to make films through film schools by a volunteer. And I worked on Galaxy of Terror, building sets with production designer Jim Cameron, with producer Roger Corman, who was the king of the B movies. And if you guys don't know who Roger Corman was, you should definitely check him out, Google him and look into him. He was the only place that many filmmakers that we admire today could get their start. So he ended up with people like Jim Cameron, like Gale Ann Hurd, Ron Howard, Martin Scorsese, Francis Ford Coppola, so many filmmakers. Jonathan Demme started with Roger Corman. So I ended up there during that period, and that was very exciting. And then I started working on some other films, independent films, editing on film with a splicer in 35 millimeter, where you chop and tape, which people still think is some kind of mythology now, but that was the way we did it. And then I started working in sound, and I worked on sound at a big company, and I worked on films like Pulp Fiction and Speed and Total Recall and whatnot, and Tremors. Mark's a big Tremors fan. I like Tremors. I'm one person away from Kevin Bacon, so I'm proud of that. One step away. And then I was I got out of doing studio films like that. I started doing my own independent films, and now I have 65 film festival awards and 2 Emmy nominations. One of them on the first film I ever did, the miniseries Space, and one of them recently, just a few weeks ago, for a film that I produced called Rekindling Christmas. So that's been my sort of journey as far as that goes. So I always try to tell a different story I've never told. This story is from, there's a fellow that I met whose name is Martin Nozick. Martin Nozick had a projection theater, excuse me, for the studios. It was independent of the studios. He had been Harry Cohn's private projectionist for 40 years. Harry was the owner of Columbia Pictures and the only studio head that owned his studio. People always thought that Louis B. Mayer and these people owned their studios. They did not own their studios, but Harry did. And he was his projectionist. So he was about 5 feet tall, and he had a kick action like this, and he'd talk like this, and he'd reach up and pat my shoulder and say, "You're a good kid." And he taught me how to be a projectionist in a studio screening room, where the reels were 10 minutes long for the picture and a separate reel for the sound. And they had these lamp houses with carbons in them that would arc in between it, and the electricity would form the light, like the old searchlights, except they were little ones. And you could change them every other reel So you had 2 reels to change, and every other reel, the car buttons, you had to remember all this. And it took 8 minutes to change the reels, and the reels were 10 minutes long. So
Wow.
you were very busy. And you were screening a film for the producer, the director, and the writer, or whatever, the editors, to watch their newest cut. Well, that room was the same room that Howard Hughes edited Jet Pilot in.
Huh.
And he slept on the couch in the lobby. Now, for those of you that have seen The Aviator, that screening room that Howard Hughes slept in there was quite palatial and very beautiful. And this is not at all the way the screening room was. It seated about 40 people. And he did sleep right on that couch in the lobby. He also had a moviola in there that was the first moviola that had sound, where they edited the jazz singer. And he had a big synchronizing machine. It had 6 perforation frames, which was what they edited Cinerama films on. So they had to cut 3 different images of Cinerama film projected on the screens separately with the editing. Every time you want to make a cut, you have to make 3 cuts. And they build it slowly over time that way. And that was, they had that there too. And any number of things. I saw my first nitrate film there. He was very furiously throwing it into a 50-gallon drum of water, paranoid that it was going to light on fire at any moment and explode or something. And that was all like my first day with Martin Nosek. But he was very good to me, and I got to work in this non-union, the only non-union screening room in Hollywood. And I saw some very bad films that people were trying to sell. There was a producer named Albert Zugsmith. You guys, does anybody know who Albert Zugsmith was and what he produced? He produced a very famous movie. Mark probably knows. Anybody? Mark Goshowitz? It's called Touch of Evil.
Yeah.
It was done by him as like a low-budget film for him, but it was later in the career of Orson Welles. And he had produced Touch of Evil, so he had all these other really bad movies that he would screen once in a while and try and get people to buy them. So I had to, one day I watched dailies of a coffee pot boiling from a complete dead stop to a full boiling with no sound. And it was like you had to have like sticks to keep your eyes open. It was so incredibly boring. So I had a wide range of experience just from that, and that was a really great thing for me at that time. Anyway, so
cool.
Enough about me. How about Space Command? Has many things going on right now. We have shoots coming up. We have sets that are being built. We have lights being installed tomorrow on some small set pieces that we have that light up. There's about a dozen of these sets that we've gotten from different shows and some of our own. And we're going to have lights inside that change colors and have all sorts of programming. And it's not very expensive to get these things to do what they do these days. It's very cool, actually. So we also have a very large load of wood that I've been given by Thane. Is Thane here yet?
Nope.
No. Thane has surfaced an entire deck in these houses that he owns. And there's this giant pile of wood. It's about $2,000 worth of wood he's giving us. So we've got a truck and some guys, and we're picking that up for the studio. And that's going to be great because we have to build a little bit more sets with that. And people are giving us things, and we're having them delivered, and we're at the studio building things and setting up shoots to happen in the near future. And so I need some paid employees, carpenters especially, and some volunteers. So if you ever work on Space Command or help out or volunteer and get involved, this is a great time for that. There's other things we can do too. There's things we can do with wardrobe. There's things we can do with set decorations and painting. So there's all kinds of stuff going on. I will definitely be there tomorrow afternoon doing some of this, and probably next week, 1 or 2 days. I'm not sure which days yet. We also, Mark has come across this pretty cool cachet of these guys have a backyard of their house that's built to be this sort of post-apocalyptic little miniature maze, like a haunted house that they have at Universal in these places. But it's a little one that's in their backyard, but it's extremely detailed and very packed with stuff. And they're getting rid of a lot of it and taking some of it out. And we got in there just in time, and it looks like we're going to pick up some pieces there that look very much like they belong in Space Command. And we'll have those in the studio to work on and get them up to snuff too. And so that's happening too. So there's always something new and crazy and different happening on Space Command.
Yeah, there always is.
So now,
keep going.
The table email. I also do that. So the table email is, if you need to be on the table email and you're not, what you do is you get your own name, first and last, and an email address like Gmail, whatever. It has to be full first and last name, email. And send that to me, and I will set you up. It's very simple, and it's very painless. So my email is davefilms, DAVEFILMS @hotmail.com. I'll put it in the chat. This is also good for the folks in the in Mr. Sci-Fi, because they get to be members of this as well. The table email is about 2,000 members all over the world And what they do is they check in with each other and they say, I'm doing this project. I've got all this stuff going on. You know, I'm looking for volunteers. I'm looking for people for paid positions. And other people can say, oh, yeah, I'd really love to jump in and help you out with that. And that sort of thing. It's a networking concept. There's also a table email for people that have personal items, like they're selling a couch or their car, or they're looking for a roommate or things like that. So you can get onto both of those and participate with people that are table members that are pretty much reliable and trustworthy and honest. I'm kidding. It's a good group. We have it winnowed down because we don't take just anybody every time. But if you're here at the meeting, it means you were referred by someone. So everyone here gets in the meetings and in the table email. So anyway, that's all. If you have any troubles with table email now, you can let me know about that too, and I'll help you get hooked up with that too. So that's kind of it. I'm probably not going to stay the whole night tonight, but I will leave my email in the chat.
Okay.
And there's plenty of Dave Edison and Mark and Elaine and Adam all know how to reach me. Carol Field knows how to reach me.
Great.
Mark does if he's here. Bonnie definitely knows how to reach me. Right, Bonnie? And that's kind of it, I guess.
Okay, cool. Yay, 3 cheers. Great. So, Adam, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes, our next question is from Gregory Krug.
Great.
I think I've gotten the hang of pronouncing his name. His question is, has there ever been any serious talks about an animated Twilight Zone series?
No.
And do you think that would work?
The closest to that was a friend of mine, a young friend of mine, was once pitching a Twilight Zone kind of show, and the way he used it as a selling tool was he made an animatic, sort of an animated storyboard with the actor saying all the lines, and the executive at MTV he didn't want to buy the show shot live action as my friend intended. He wanted to buy it where it was storyboards, and that did actually work, but my friend sadly didn't agree to that, so it didn't move forward. I never say that something won't work until it's proven that it won't work. But an animated Twilight Zone certainly could work, but I've never heard anyone express a desire to have that. Because one of the key things about Twilight Zone is that you identify with the characters, and live action makes it easier to do that. But if Twilight Zone had been done like 10 or 20 years later, a lot of that was the period, the 1970s particularly, was the period where you would get Planet of the Apes animated series, Godzilla animated series, real Ghostbusters, etc., where any popular Star Trek, they did an animated Star Trek, where the popular science fiction shows or movies would be, RoboCop was another one, where they do a cartoon. But Twilight Zone was really too early to benefit from that. So that's the way it went. So let's see. So Adam, I guess you're next. Go for it.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Adam Sartain. I am an actor, a voice actor with over 78 voices, accents, and impressions. And I am also an associate producer on Space Command. So I've just been we've been busy getting ready to get our perks out from our last campaign. I've been organizing a lot of stuff in that regard. We've already delivered pretty much all the electronic perks we already have on hand.
Great.
Which is a lot. So that's been busy. For those of you who don't know, I was in a car wreck, which will be tomorrow will mark 2 weeks. So next week, supposedly, I'm going to hear from the insurance as to how much they're going to pay me for my car, which was totaled. Yes, and I've been going to the chiropractor, and that's been helping. I've just been having little back problems, nothing too major. And my friend Alan Murray has a show in the Fringe Festival. It was part of Pick of the Fringe. And it was awarded one of the Pick of the Fringe awards, and an encore award as well. So I'm very proud of that. I'm participating in it in that it's a one-man show, but he interacts with a voice off stage, and I am those. There's different voices that I do from off stage. I talk to the mic. So it's called The Many Layers of Tom Lehrer.
Yes.
So it's a biographical musical about Tom Lehrer and his music and everything.
That's great. And for those who don't know Tom Lehrer, definitely check him out. He's a wonderful, wonderful songwriter with satirical, humorous songs. He's just brilliant. So,
and still alive.
Yes,
93
amazingly.
years old and living in San Jose.
Wow, amazing. So,
Santa Cruz.
So anything else you need, Adam?
Nothing right now. I'm doing pretty good.
Okay, well, great. 3 cheers. Yay. So is there a Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes, there is.
Great.
Another fit to be read question.
Okay. Hi.
Are you a fan of Gibson's Neuromancer or any of Neil Stephenson's work?
Yes, I like Neil Stephenson's work. I haven't read all of it, but I like what I've read. With Neuromancer, I've never actually been able to read all of it all the way through. I've been on the run. I've met William Gibson several times. I like him. I very much like his Alien 3 script that's recently been made into an animatic, which is on Mr. Sci-Fi. You can watch the entire movie there. Neuromancer was a game changer, but I just haven't it's the cyberpunk novel, but I can't comment on it. I love Philip K. Dick, of course. I've read most of his work, and but I haven't read. I mean, I've read other novels by William Gibson. God, what was it? I can't remember the title of it, but I've read other of his novels that I did like, and I think he's very talented. And Neil Stephenson, I think, is very, very talented. So let's see. So Marco Bannon, you're up next. Oh, you have to unmute. There you go.
Hello. How you doing? Happy birthday, Mark.
Thank you.
So, hi everybody. I'm Mark Bannon. I'm an author, and my friend Sky Conway has he made a deal with LA Comic Con. They gave him a lot of space to run an event. So,
great.
Usually I do like I do a panel at Comic Con every year. This time I'm doing like 50 events. So,
wow.
You want to do a Space Command panel, like
of course.
2 hours? You can show the movie and panel and the space for signing and everything.
Wow.
Okay.
Sounds great.
We'd also like to do other stuff. I'd like to do a Babylon 5 panel, but we don't have any contact. So if you want to organize something like that,
that's possible. Nice. You bet. Sure.
I'm thinking we do a Remembering Mira type of thing. That'd be cool.
That would be great. That'd be great. So,
So yeah, I'm just organizing that, and just popped in to say hi. I've been wanting to come into the table, but I'm never around at 5:30. Today I happen to be here, so
that's great.
Just wanted to pop in and say hi.
Well, good. Well, that's great, and it's good to see you. And I talked to David Raiklin, and we definitely will be coordinating with you on that stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of possibilities. So great. Well, 3 cheers. Good to see you.
Cool.
Now, also, I don't know if you remember, Mark, but you're in Space Command. There's a number of scenes where you actually are an extra on camera. So that's you're like, you're very much like Where's Waldo kind of thing. So that's another great thing to focus on. So great, but 3 cheers, yay!
So you're doing the 3rd movie now?
Well, we've recorded 7 hours of Space Command. So we're ramping up. We started shooting the next hour, and we're going to do the entire first season. That's absolutely the plan. And but meanwhile, we pitched it today to an executive at Amazon, and we're sending over the first hour for her to look at, plus the Showrunners Network, which is this project I'm doing with 6 series. So there's a lot of stuff coming down the pike. So So
I have another question for you.
Sure.
Have you seen this before, Perry Rodan?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, it's an old science fiction show. It's I just didn't know if you knew about it. But
Forey Ackerman was a big.
All of these.
It's a series of novels that were very successful in Europe, and it's spun off into a number of different media. Forrest Ackerman was very instrumental in publishing. Publishing the books here. Yeah, absolutely. So anything else, Mark? Anything else you need?
No, that's all. I just wanted to, pop in and say hi and tell you about the panel. I didn't know if you got the emails directly, but
it's a really good idea to coordinate with my team, just because we're so crazy busy at the moment. I mean, between all the different projects we're dealing with, it's just crazy in terms of falling behind with emails and so forth. But definitely we want to do the things you're suggesting. So that
I think you're on like 3 panels. The Space Command you're going to do, and there's a Star Trek writers panel, and
cool.
something else.
Yeah.
If you want to do like an interview show or something, interview someone, that'd be cool.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff we can do. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Now, what are the dates again?
December 3, 4, and 5.
Oh, cool. Okay, great. Yeah, we'll nail it down. That'll be great. I appreciate it. So, anything else,
Cool,
Mark?
okay. Oh, that's all. Just saying hi.
Okay, good to see you as
I'm
always.
awesome. I'm a graphic artist, in case you're curious what this is. So I do graphic art. So.
Great. Well, thanks. Thanks a lot. Good to see you. So, Adam, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes, but I was reminded of one thing I do need, which is podcast guests.
Yes.
For my
yes, okay.
podcast Inside Animation.
Sure.
I didn't have one last week, and now I'm like way behind.
Oh
so
no.
if anyone involved in any aspect of animation at all, I would love to have you on my podcast. Reach out to me.
Great.
I'll put my email in the chat.
Cool.
I'll put the email for my podcast and then the name of the podcast as well. We've got 15, 16 episodes out.
Have you put out that kind of request to the animation wing of the Writers Guild? Because I think they have a Facebook group, don't they?
I need to do that. Yeah.
I think you'd get a very good response.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a good idea.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I would urge you to.
And then for Mark, if you need a panel, host for animation panels, I have a podcast that's focused on animation.
Cool. That sounds great.
So I can offer my services there.
Great. That sounds great.
I will put my email in the chat so you can send me an email, and if we have space.
Great.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Great.
Just wait a minute.
Very cool.
Great.
That's
Thanks.
right.
Thanks, Mark.
So let's get to the question. Sorry, I've been holding up the meeting. It's a Scott Baker question.
Yes.
And he wants to know, can a story be sci-fi that has nothing to do with technology, space-time, interdimensional travel, but is merely speculative about a future society, like the Communist Manifesto, or I may offer alternative history?
Well, yes, it can, but again, you have to be careful. You have to remember that you're not making a speech, you're telling a story. And stories involve characters, stories involve incidents. So yes, and in fact, many of the after the bomb stories, because during the Cold War, there was a whole subgenre of science fiction that was after the bomb stories. Many of those were non-technological because, the nuclear war had destroyed technology. And so, yes, you can absolutely do that. There, you can set a parallel Earth on a completely different track. There's many, many different ways to tell a story. Yeah, I mean, the whole point about speculative fiction is it's speculative. So you can speculate on the past, the future, alternatives, anything. So yes, but at the end of the day, it has to tell a story. And so that's the main thing. So cool. So Galinda, I guess you're next on my screen.
There we go. There's my button.
Yeah.
Hi. I am Galinda. I am a Mr. Sci-Fi fan.
Great.
And supporter of Space Command. Yay! Really, really happy to be here. I don't have just here to say hi. I don't have really anything new. I am a little excited with something that's going on with work. Now, there's a Windows error that plagues people who do anything with audio and video together, and it causes crashing while you're gaming or you're editing or whatever it is you're doing, you're creating. And a lot of people pointing fingers at games, a lot of people pointing at video cards, and it's just gotten some attention from some people. I've been asking around, and suddenly there's an issue, and we're talking about it. And now I'm kind of geeking out because I found a thing, and I asked about a thing, and now everybody's talking about the thing. So hopefully I'll have something more solid on it soon. But I'm hoping my new claim to fame would be that I spearhead the movement to fix the radar pre-leak errors on Windows.
Cool.
But yeah, I don't really have any needs or questions or anything right now.
Okay.
Happy birthday, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm really, really glad to be able to tell you that directly.
Thanks so much. Well, good to see you as always. 3 cheers. Yay. So is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam?
Let's take a look. I can Yes. El Johnorino
Hi.
wants to know,
Yes.
do you think you might be, or you might bring on anyone else to write for Space Command or for any of your other projects, like the showrunners shows? And how would you choose those writers?
Right. The
Interesting question.
well, certainly with Space Command, we're not looking for other writers particularly. Elaine and I are writing the rest of it. With the other shows, because I have Mark Fergus and Hawk Ostby and Rockney O'Bannon and Joe Dougherty, I mean, they're all writers as well as me, you know, and so, you know, probably they'll be, you know, doing their share of the work once things get moving forward. But you know, you never know how things are going to twist or turn. It's just that, you know, obviously if all 6 series get greenlit, I can't write all of that. But we'll see. Gesundheit. We'll see what happens. I mean, the good part is that, as I said earlier, now that a season is 10 episodes, you know, back, you know, when I was working on Sliders or any of the other shows, they were 22 episodes a season. Now with 10, I mean, you know, 6 series of 10 is only 60 episodes. That's not that huge a number comparatively. So, you know, a little over 2 seasons worth from the old days. So, you know, so yeah, but we'll see. But again, I'm not eager to have to go through a lot of material to determine who to hire. I'd rather work with people I've worked with and, you know, keep it to a very small number. I mean, every writer's staff I was ever on was 3 people, and that worked really efficiently and really well. So anyway, that's some of it. So Bonnie, I guess you're next.
Okay. And I've talked to a composer, songwriter, anything music. I've talked a lot about this music library, this Sum of All Music, and that's where MedHat is from. And so they've just released the summer album. We're starting to work on Christmas songs, all kinds of stuff. Lots of collaborations, lots of exciting things happening. It looks like the whole group will work on some films. Anyway, all kinds of really great stuff, really great group. Mostly just online, but there have been 3 in-person events, so it's at least for the local people. Of course, MedHat is in Canada, and others are all around the world, as are all Zoom meetings now. And just right now, I've been working on someone from the table. I'm working on their musical, and then another musical to music direct, and there's another. Anyway, 3 different musical projects, theater, and then I keep getting close, but there's a film that had to stop, of course, due to COVID, so that should resume. And also working on another project with a table member, doing arrangements and things for some of their songs. Yeah, just a lot of different things. Anybody needing music, but the most important thing, happy birthday, Elaine, on the 21st, and Mark on the 25th.
Thank you.
Red letter days.
Yay,
Happy
3
birthday
cheers.
to both of you.
Thank you so much. So anything else, Bonnie?
All right. No, I think that's it.
Okay, cool. Yay, 3 cheers. Another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam?
Yes. I was just right here. Let's go to Mark. I passed it. Oh, there it is. Mark Lungo wants to know which science fiction work, and that includes movies, series, books, whatever, deserves more recognition from the sci-fi fan community.
Well, one of my favorite comic books was Magnus Robot Fighter when Russ Manning was doing it. I thought it was a terrific comic book series when I was a kid. So I would recommend that. I'm reading Swastika Night, which is an alternative history novel where the Nazis won World War II that I'm enjoying very much. It was published in 1937, amazingly. There's a bunch of stuff. I mean, John Wyndham's books are really terrific. You know, the amazing thing is how quickly certain writers fade from the scene, you know, and Harlan Ellison is sort of fading from the scene. Ted Sturgeon, by and large, is faded from the scene. These are wonderful writers. And so, you know, there's such an enormous amount of material. For each person, you gravitate toward what speaks to you. And I realized that the two directors who I think have most influenced me in terms of film are Ridley Scott and James Cameron, even though I don't think they'd be my favorite people. But and obviously, of course, Twilight Zone and Star Trek and all of that. But the reason I work in television is because I like a mass medium that reaches millions of people. I don't want to write something that only a few hundred people or 1,000 people read. That's not my dream of heaven. So I like mass audiences. So let's see. So Cherry, I guess you're next.
Hello, it's Cherie.
Hi, Cherie.
I'm here in Silicon Valley.
Cool.
I'm a writer-director, and I am finishing up a rewrite for someone for an indie film they're shooting next month, and I've got just this much more. You can't see it. Just that much more of notes to incorporate, and then
Cool.
I can send it off.
Great.
We're done. That'll be great. Next month, I am taking a lighting class because I feel it's really important to be able to speak to your DP
Yes.
in similar terms. And the last lighting class I took, there weren't digital media that we were using and LEDs and stuff like that. So, I need to get up to speed on that stuff.
Mm.
And then I do have one request. I have 3 questions regarding it. So I want to do a table read for a script I wrote.
Mhm.
And I want to do it on Zoom, record it, and then put it on YouTube for people to watch.
Mhm.
So my first question is, whenever I Zoom with just one other person, I can do it like unlimited time. But when I have a group, it knocks it down to 40 minutes or something like that. And I don't know if anyone knows what I need to do to get it.
You need to pay for an account.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can get a Adam.
You do a one-time thing, because I'm not going to want to do this a lot.
It's $40. It's free for 40 minutes. An account, unless you know someone who's willing to let you onto their account.
Yes.
Right.
So Adam,
you can have someone who has an account like me, for example, host the Zoom session, and then it's free.
So great.
And then as far as recording goes, would you be the one recording it too, the host?
But it can be actually, the host can enable other people to record it on their end.
Okay, cool.
Will it go to them or will it go to you?
It can, if it's recorded on their end, it'll go to them. Right. Yeah.
And then
it can also be recorded to the cloud, and then everyone can access it. But yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm putting it on YouTube, do I need to get signed releases from everyone who's reading it?
You need to let them all know and make sure it's okay. Obviously, if you have anything in writing, that helps. Signed releases are always a good idea. But definitely explain why you want to put it on public view, and you do need everyone to know that that's what your plan is, because otherwise you could get a unpleasant surprise.
Yeah. That's what I want to avoid.
Yeah.
Should be. I would strongly recommend you get likeness releases.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just because then you're okay, and if anybody does say something later and you're planning to do something really cool with your project, you're in trouble. There's no need for it.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
Okay. And then my last one is just kind of like if anyone's done this before with a table read, I don't know, but since it's my script and I want to listen to it and stuff, would it be advisable for me not to read any of the, like scene headings and action blocks? I just stay out of it.
Yes, and also you can winnow down the shot descriptions, the headers. In other words, it becomes incredibly tedious to listen to all that read out loud. Like exterior, night, blah 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 blah. So you can just say, he walks into the living room instead of, he walks into interior living room continuous. So you can, and if there's like a long block of description of like, every piece of furniture or something, you just want to trim it we always do a reading draft for table reads so that it doesn't drive us crazy.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of reading drafts. So okay.
Yeah. But also, you don't want to read anything you want or play a role or any of that. You want to really be able to listen to it. And also you might want to talk to your actors beforehand, and and make sure that they understand that they have to read it in advance. They should know their role. They should bring some energy to it. I mean, stuff like that, because so a lot of actors will just kind of like do a cold reading, and they bumble through it, and they have no clue who the character is supposed to be, and that's not pleasant.
Okay, good. Thank you. That's everything I needed to know.
Great. Well, 3 cheers. Yay. Yeah. So is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam?
Yes, our next question is from Drew1.
Hi, Drew.
I guess not Drew 2. But,
well, there you go.
The question is, what sci-fi movies were brilliant but slipped through the mainstream cracks?
Dark City. The director's cut of Dark City. Don't ever watch the theatrical cut. It's very different and significantly inferior. So Dark City is terrific. I'm a big fan of Things to Come by H.G. Wells, the 1936 British film. There's a bunch of them. It's Live, Die, Repeat. What was it called? Edge of Tomorrow, I think, is a really good movie. I liked Oblivion. But so there's a batch. Journey to the Beginning of Time, I have a very soft spot in my heart for. Robinson Crusoe on Mars, I really like, because I saw that when I was a kid. There's a bunch of stuff. So Day the Earth Stood Still is a great film. So there's a batch, and but those are some I would just mention off the top of my head. So let's see. So Mark Agushowitz. Oh wait, no. Mark, hang on a second. Let's do Judith next, because she's
on the recuperation.
On the recuperation. Yes, Judith, do you want to take your turn? You have to unmute. Oh, it's not unmute. There you go.
I had to take Lyft until they come from the doctor. Anyway, nothing much going on. Trying to find a helper through a agency. And I'm shooting the final scene for my film on Sunday, where I get my head blown off with the shotgun.
Great.
That should be fun. And that's about it.
Okay.
Nothing much more. I'm just trying to get things together. I'm practicing my walking and all that good stuff.
Good.
And soon I'll be able to go up and downstairs without the walker.
Great. That's
even
great.
with your head blown off?
Yeah, that's going to be...
Even with your head blown off, you're going to go downstairs with the walker?
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Yeah,
very good.
Yeah, with my head blown off. With her head tucked underneath her arm, she walks a bloody town.
Yeah, there you go. So great. So anything else, Judith?
No, I'm fine. I'm just moving on as much as I can.
Great.
The voice is starting to come back a little bit.
Yes, that's good.
We'll see.
Well, cool.
That's it.
Okay, 3 cheers. Yay. So is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam?
Yes. Our next question is another Scott Baker question.
Hi, Scott.
And he says, when people ask if you need more writers for Space Command, does it feel a little bit like someone asking to co-parent your beloved child?
Not exactly. I mean, it's, I think people want to have a shot. People want to get, if they want to be writers, they want to have the opportunity to show what they can do. But for me, it complicates my job. And so because I have so much on my plate, because I'm so busy, writing is usually the last thing I need someone to help me with, and other than if it's Elaine or or the people I'm collaborating with, it's it's sort of like I don't need more writers. I need a lot of other things, but that's the main thing. So so there you go. So yeah, that's the answer. So so now, Mark Agushowitz, you can have your wonderful turn.
Hello. Okay. Didn't expect it to come up so fast.
Yeah.
Pretty
exciting.
Also, before you go, I just need to let you guys know I need to leave after this one. So I'll do this Mr. Sci-Fi after this.
Great.
And then David Bartlett, if you could take over for me, I would appreciate it.
Oh,
I feel privileged. You waited until I went.
Yeah.
My turn.
Yeah.
Okay, so for people who don't know me, I think most people do. My name is Mark. I'm an editor. As busy as a pretty heck this week. was a pretty hectic week because I am editing on 2 different projects right now. And one of the clients who I've worked with for quite a long time, they like to wait till the last minute. So it's kind of like pulling your hair out when they start sending you notes. But other than that, just the same old. And I got my film out to a couple more festivals. I'm in the midst of upgrading my computer, putting more RAM into it, putting more hard drive space into it. And hopefully that'll help quicken things along. I've been sending my film out to some more film festivals, so we're keeping our fingers crossed because now we're hitting September and we're supposed to hear from some of them in September. And then the website, which is Underexposed Cinematic Treasures, the new review just went up. Starting on the next one, I was going to do the movie Heavy based on Elaine's recommendation, but it's not really streaming anywhere.
Really?
It's on Netflix, but Netflix is too complicated. I try to keep it like on Amazon and Vudu and stuff, so that people they don't have to have a membership to be able to watch.
Right.
And so, which is actually kind of disappointing because there's such a great movie, but I kind of feel like that's the point of my website, saying, hey man, there are movies out there. We got to get more attention to them. Maybe they'll get streaming more. So, so I'm kind of contemplating what my next review is going to be. I kind of want it to be something like either sci-fi or fantasy because I don't really have anything like that out there done yet.
Sure.
But we'll see.
Okay.
And then to try and promote the site, I just did I reappeared on the Talking Apes podcast, this time as a guest instead of as a co-host, which is very strange because me and my co-host sometimes disagree on how that show should have happened. And so now as a guest, I got to go with the flow. I have no say. So, but he's been doing a pretty good job keeping the show up and keeping the fans informed. So I'm pretty happy with what he's been doing with the show. So, so yeah, if anybody wants to see my stuff, it's underexposedcinematictreasures.com. And I'm going to just kind of put it out there to everybody right now. I put it out on my Facebook group and everything. I have a fan recommendation page, which seems to be a very popular page. I've gotten a couple more that are going to be going up over the next week or so from fans or other people who have their own underseen or unseen movies that they want to get more attention to. And so I asked basically for 1 to 4 sentences. And if you write me a 1 to 4 sentence review, and don't just give me a synopsis. Some people just give me synopsis, but take the 1 to 4 sentence to tell people and convince them they should watch this movie.
Yes.
I will post it on that page. And I will also let people know, as soon as I post it, I always make an announcement all over the place. Adam did one for me for a movie called Fatso. And then when I couldn't find it streaming anywhere, he sent me a link where it was streaming.
Cool. That's great.
So some of them are hard to find. I know Michelle wants me to do one, but we just can't find it streaming anywhere. But I'm loving, I think it's become my favorite part of the website, not because, I like writing this stuff and I like putting my own opinion out there, but just the interaction and seeing people getting excited about throwing out their own movies, their own ideas.
Yes.
Like I loved it when Elaine said, have you seen Happy? And I wish I could do it. And I'm going to keep an eye out and see if it ever streams.
Great.
Because I really was going to do it this week. So
okay.
Anyway, that's me. That's me.
Okay. Yay. 3 cheers. Brilliant. So I don't know. So who's handling the Mr. Sci-Fi questions?
I was going to do one more.
One more.
And then
Okay. Great, Adam. That's fine. Thank you.
We've got another question from Gregory Krug.
Okay, Greg.
He wants to know, are there going to be any more Mr. Politics videos?
Yes, there will be. There's a few that I've been thinking about doing. Someone asked me to do one about the whole Gavin Newsom recall thing, and also I wanted to do one about stop the steal craziness, and so yeah. And for those who don't know what we're talking about, because the Mr. Sci-Fi fans are all across the political spectrum, some people, I'm definitely on the left, and some of my friends on the right asked me not to be political on Mr. Sci-Fi, and that's fair because I've always felt that science fiction is a big tent that allows a lot of people, if someone comes with a good heart, that's great. And so, you don't have to have your, political ID card, but because I didn't have things I wanted to talk about regarding politics, I started my own channel called Mr. Politics, and I post there very infrequently. I was posting much more there when Trump was president for very obvious reasons, but there are some things I want to kind of just talk about and clean up. I mean, because well, we'll see, but yes, absolutely. So just keep an eye out. And if you want to see what I've posted on Mr. Politics, you can go subscribe and all that stuff. So, okay, good. So Michelle, you're up. Go for it. There you go. Oh, there.
There.
Yep.
There I sort of. Okay.
Good.
Well, let's see. There's a number of people on here that I don't think know me, so I'm going to bore the rest of you with a little background. I'm a dancer and actor. I danced as much as I acted and acted as much as I danced. Basically, I went where the work was. Mostly ballet, but other stuff as well.
Great.
Lately, I've been doing background SAG work because that's where the work has been. And actually, last week I was working on something that's called The Offer, which is the story of how Albert Ruddy made The Godfather, which is going to be really interesting. And a lot of really cool 1970s clothes involved in this. And so there was that and some really cool cars. Let's see, I have played a spy as a recurring character on General Hospital. Please don't ask me to explain why General Hospital had spies on it. I was on quite a while, and I never even saw the inside of a hospital set. Go figure. I am the rotoscope model for Janna of the Jungle, a Hanna-Barbera character who was a takeoff on Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. She's much curvier than I am. And let's see, I don't think I had ever told anybody. I was in a Shakespeare premiere. Go figure that.
Wow.
I was in a production of Two Noble Kinsmen, a rather obscure piece of Shakespeare, which a lot of people are arguing about whether it actually was Shakespeare or Shakespeare written with someone else. And if you are a person who likes Shakespeare, you don't have to be a real expert to know that there are some speeches there that couldn't be by anyone else, and speeches there that would have to be by somebody else because they bring like his stuff at all. But it's really fun to tell people you were in a Shakespeare premiere.
That's cool.
So there's that. The film that I asked Mark Gushewitz to find is an Italian film called Golden Door. The term Golden Door relates to the phrase on the Statue of Liberty, "I lift my lamp beside the golden door." And I did not have the time to try and track it and see where it is, and Mark has not been able to find it. So if I've got some time, I will try and find that. But meanwhile, I got a text at 4 o'clock saying, "Can you get over and get a COVID test today because you need to have a fitting tomorrow?" And so it's another piece of background doing something on. There's this trend toward not giving people the real name of what they're working on, sort of like connected to an NDA. And the working name of this is Wild Chicken. So I think pretty much we can assume that it has nothing to do with wildness or chickens. Stay tuned. By next week, I'll know what it was I was working on.
Great.
Considering that Mandalorian was called Huckleberry when I signed up for it, go figure.
Have fun.
So that's kind of all I got to say. Happy birthday to you both.
Thank you. Yay. 3 cheers. So I guess, David, are you handling the Mr. Sci-Fi questions?
I am.
So is there one?
There are. Scott Baker says, Mr. Sci-Fi, many thoughtful people are talking more lately about a change in humanity's diet. as a way to someday reverse the now inevitable climate catastrophe, can come and address that?
We do to a certain extent. It's not. We don't do it under a dietary idea, but we do it under the idea of humanity kind of coming together to save the planet. It's in the prequel, United Planet, which we've done as an audio play and are doing as a graphic novel. So, yeah, but we do explore that subject. So next, I guess we have Hallie. If you're there, Hallie, are you there? There you are.
Yeah, it just took me a second to get it all turned back on again. I was just having a great time watching and listening to everybody.
Cool.
It was fun. I'm new. This is only my second time. I was here really long when it was a restaurant in Hollywood. So it was a really long time ago.
Yeah.
So nobody knows me, but I was here last week, so maybe somebody knows me.
Cool.
So I'm an actor, a writer, and primarily I'm an actor, writer, show creator at this point. I am creating a drama. I'm creating a drama and a comedy piece, a series. The drama series was a piece that I did 15 years ago-ish, and went down with the writer's strike, had showrunners on it, went down with the writer's strike, and is now being picked back up. The comedy is not. It's a newer piece, and I've done all that I can do writing-wise and prepping-wise for the drama. So we're out trying to pitch that and find showrunner for that and all of that. But I get to keep working on. I have the first of a 2-part pilot written on the comedy, and I'm laying out the season and all of that. And I'm enjoying flipping over from drama to comedy, especially these days where I crave comedy. Yikes. In our world. And it feels a little ridiculous as the world burns up and floods and people get blown up and all that I'm writing a little comedy, but one foot in front of the other.
Yes.
The thing that I would like to ask about, besides if anyone knows brilliant showrunners, I'm getting slowly connected to different showrunners to consider the one that's prepped and ready, the drama. But the question I have is, as an actor, because I'm an actress, and I'm coming back into my work after being off during COVID, and then I've done a lot more theater than film and TV, but I've done a bunch of short films and that kind of thing. I want to shoot 2 scenes, low-tech scenes to put up on my website as an actor. I have one in French and I want one in Spanish. I would like to know if anybody can think of a show where there's a character that is American speaking Spanish. I can take just a Spanish scene, but I mean, my accent isn't super strong, but it's clearly American. I don't want it to seem, I want them to know that I would be playing an American if I shot it. I found like one in French that I can do that with, but I have not found one in Spanish. So I'd love to know if any think of that.
I've got 2 places you could go for that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. One's my station and one's that someone's been with us for a long time in crowdfunding. They're both Spanish-speaking actors and producers, and they would probably be able to hook you up with something.
Yeah.
Okay. What are they? I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
Email me.
Okay.
My email's in the queue there. If you can't,
okay.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, you can put out an email to the table at large, and I'm sure you'll get response.
Yes, and I am, of course, looking for representation, as there's so many people. I'm not trying to do the throw spaghetti at the wall thing,
right?
Because I don't think that's going to be useful for a rep or for me.
Right.
I have work that I can show people of my work so that people will know that I'm a solid actor. If anybody has any ability to recommend a rep, I'll put my email up there. And if anybody wants to see my work, because I would never expect anybody to try and help me out without doing that, that would be wonderful if anybody can give me a leg up a little bit on that, because I'm very serious about, I had ratcheted down the rest of my life, except for a rest of my life, and was going to finally go for my acting career in 2020. So I had gotten rid of the other work that I had and was just gearing up at the beginning of 2020. That was my year to finally go for it. So we see how that worked out.
Yes.
But I've gotten my enthusiasm back to do the same thing now. So
great.
anybody who's able to or wishes to try and point me in a direction with that so that I can start auditioning on series and such would be great.
Great.
So that's what I need. Thank you.
Yay! 3 cheers.
Thank you. And happy birthday.
Thank you.
I'm
Thanks
right
so
here.
much. Thank you. So is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, David? Oh, we can't hear you. We're not hearing you.
Oh, David, you're muted.
You're muted, David. There you go.
I was muted.
Yeah.
I have an air conditioner going. I don't want it to be noisy. Is it noisy? Can you guys hear it?
No, it's fine.
Oh, excellent. Okay. All right. Scott Gamble says, talking about post-apocalyptic stories.
Yes.
Talk about Ray Bradbury's story, Chicago Abyss.
Mm.
I've never seen the play version produced, and it was done at Kent State University in the mid-'80s.
Wow. I mean, Ray wrote just classic stories in many genres. He also wrote a great one called The Smile that was basically in a future where they're going to destroy the Mona Lisa, and one person gets away with the part of the painting that's just the smile, and it's after the bomb. And but there's a lot of great after the bomb stories. I mean, A Canticle for Leibowitz is a wonderful novel set after an atomic war. And I really like On the Beach as well, both the movie and the novel by Neville Shute. There's tons of stuff. So
Can I throw one out there?
What? I'm sorry. What?
Can I throw one out there?
Yes.
It is probably the scariest movie you will ever see, and I mean that. And if you don't believe me, you can go to my website. It was one of the first movies I reviewed, and it's called Threads.
Yes, it's extremely disturbing.
It is. It's terrifying, but I also think that movies like that sometimes are really important.
Yes.
And so if you want to see a movie that'll terrify you or show it to people who don't think nuclear war is still a danger,
Right.
Threads. One of the best.
Yeah, and it's interesting because there was an American miniseries called The Day After that Nick Myers did. He wrote and directed, and which was an after the bomb, nuclear war story. But it ended shortly after the nuclear exchange. Threads was a British show, a British thing that followed years after the nuclear war, and it is just incredibly disturbing. So yeah,
after look like a soap opera.
Yeah, you can see it on YouTube. It's available on YouTube now. So great, terrific. So yeah, so I get
Mark. Tell them about The Day After.
It's really good. Reagan and Gorbachev saw it, and it moved them both to a point where they decided to start limiting the number of nuclear weapons. So it was very powerful.
World War III.
What? I'm sorry.
It stopped World War III.
Yes, and so now I guess it's Elaine's turn. Go for it, Elaine.
Yeah.
Elaine's got a lot of great stuff happening. Go for it.
Yeah, well, one of the great things is we're actually going to get away for a few days tomorrow, babe. But beyond that, a lot of stuff is happening.
Yes.
In terms because Michelle DaCosta, our British
development exec.
Yes. She put us in touch with Unreal Engine, who is offering grants up to $500,000 if you use their product.
They're a gaming platform.
So although I was trying to do Voiceless Roar, money.
Yes, Elaine has Ashes. It's a science fiction movie she's written, and this is the folder of concept art, which is really cool.
I've written it a while ago because Mark made me.
Yeah. I have
And,
this Svengali-like power over her.
Yes, he does. So it's been there for a while, but the thing is that because it's about terraforming and about the Earth going to hell, it's become even more relevant now. But it's very play-like. In the end, it's about two men locked together in a room.
Well, with a woman.
No, she's gone. No, she's gone by then. Anyway, so we're moving along with that. Damien Gerard is in it, of The Table.
Stars in it.
And we're going after. So hopefully we'll land the first $500,000 from
Unreal Engine, then
Unreal
get
Engine.
matching funds.
Now that's open to everybody. Unreal Engine.
Yeah,
Just
but don't
look it
tell
up. Don't tell them. I won't tell you.
Yeah.
But it's open to everybody. If you just go online, you can see it online.
Yeah.
So so we're trying to get that, and in addition, it can't be made for $500,000. I have been told by my team.
Right. So you have to get
And
matching
so we're
funds.
we're now on the hunt for another $500,000, and we're going in several directions, but it's exciting. And Mark went after an actor for me.
Well, there's an actor on Star Trek Discovery named David Ajala. He's a black British actor, very, very good. And so Doug Jones, who stars in Space Command and Star Trek Discovery, he reached out on our behalf to David Ajala, and David said he wasn't interested in doing science fiction. He didn't want to get typecast. So then I saw he was going to be speaking at the Star Trek convention in Vegas. So I flew there and I rented a hotel room, and you can buy a photo op with the star, and you can buy a signed photo with the star. So I signed up for both of those things. So I knew that would get me right next to him, and I would only have like 5 seconds or something to say something that might, make a dent. So I did that, and he then gave me his email. And so a couple days ago, we had a very nice Zoom call with him. He was back home in London, and he's reading the script this weekend. So that's very exciting. When he had said no, and I didn't take no for an answer. So that was good. That was good.
What did you say to him during your 5 seconds?
I said a lot. I said, I'm Mark Zicree. Doug Jones reached out on my behalf. My wife and I have our own studio. And Michelle, our development exec, is going through a bit of a health crisis. So I asked him to sign a photo to her to give her, encouragement. And I said, but then as things went on and he started to know me a little bit, fortunately, one of the other actors on Star Trek Discovery, I actually cast in a guest lead role on Lazarus Man, which was a Western that I was a producer on years ago. It was an episode that I wrote, and that was Anthony Rapp, who his next role after that was the lead in Rent on Broadway. And I talked to Anthony, and he said that you're casting me, and that really meant a lot to me at that point in my career. So the fact that I'd cast one of the other actors on that series, I think also had weight with David. I mean, it really legitimized me. Also, David was the lead on Night Flyers, which is a show that George R.R. Martin created, and of course I've worked with George Martin on 2 different shows, so as a writer. So
we'll see. But for those of you who are pitching your show, when you pitch it, you should have several pitches lined up for yourself.
Yes.
One pitch is to sell it, where you're telling the story.
Right.
But another pitch, if you are trying to get the actor, is you should get very, very clear on pitching the role.
Yes.
And in a way that the actor really understands what the role
Why
is.
their role is important.
Yes. And
yes.
What could make it powerful or challenging. And so that's pitch number 2. And pitch number 3 is to get the director, and where you're talking about it visually.
Yes.
So it is important to have multiple pitches as you're gathering a team.
Yes. And also just an interesting thing, by the time I talked to David at the convention, he said, well, if you have something for me to read, I'd be very open to reading it if you want to send it to me. And I said, no, I prefer to get in relationship first. I'd rather that we have a conversation and you get to meet Elaine. I was trying to get a lunch date with him here in LA, but he's here too briefly, between Vegas and London. But then when he talked to Elaine on the Zoom call and really understood what a wonderful actress director she is and what the meaning of the role and the meaning of the film was, he said, I see exactly why you wanted to have this conversation before having me read it. So, because it put it in context. And, because often it's not just the script, it's who's making that film, who's behind it, what the creative personnel are, who the creative personnel are.
So he may or may not respond to the script itself.
But we've got a really good shot.
But at least he actually will read it, and that's the most you can ask for.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So anything else, Elaine?
No.
Yay, Elaine! 3 cheers. So David, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yeah, are you the last one now?
This is the last one.
I've got 3.
Uh-oh. Well, choose one. Choose the good one.
Actually, there's really only one question.
Okay.
I'll do all 3. They're fast.
Okay.
So Scott Campbell says, these faux names for productions where people shoot things and they have different names.
Yes.
JJ's Star Trek in 2009 was in production. It was known as Corporate Headquarters.
That's
and
pretty
then, of
funny.
course, E.T. was being produced as A Boy's Life.
Yes.
And when you look at Back to the Future, they have a marquee in the town square, and Zemeckis put A Boy's Life playing on the cinemas, in that cinema marquee.
Yes.
That's fun.
And Star Wars, and I think Star Wars was Blue Harvest, right?
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Corman used to change names all the time. We had Galaxy of Terror was 2 or 3 different films.
Yes.
Before it was finally released. Mind Warp and Infinity of Terror was my favorite.
Yes.
And everyone did it, but yeah, he was very famous for that. Even Disney's done that. But
Okay.
anyways.
Yeah.
Let's see. So now we've got. Feel compelled to declare to everyone my love and best wishes for the best of all possible realities for you and all humanity, particularly in the face of great stresses around the globe. That's just how Scott Baker's throwing that out. And
Thanks,
he also
Scott.
asked, knowing if you're not a huge Star Wars fan to begin with, I wonder if you have an opinion about controversial Mitchellorians, a version of Mitochondria?
Whatever they were called. Yes, midichlorians. Yes.
That's how midichlorians is spelled?
Yes.
Okay, the controversial midichlorians, a version of the in the galaxy embodying the Force.
Yes. It's a perfect example of wrecking something that didn't need to be wrecked. It was much better when the Force was not because you have a certain amount of these wacky little things in your body, because the lovely fantasy escapist idea is that, well, any of us could utilize the Force if we just got the training, if we just were pure of heart and, ate our Wheaties or whatever. So that was just in the prequel films. They brought that up. It was George Lucas. He was an idiot. And yeah, so end of story. So anything else, David? Is that it? That's it? Okay, great. So now it's me, wonderful me. Yay, 3 cheers. My gosh, we're busy. I've gotten notes back from my publisher, so I have to go through them and see what I need to change, and then they'll publish that book, Greenlighting Yourself. We had a great Zoom meeting with the executive at Amazon today, and the executive previously we'd been dealing with is now moving over to Netflix. So he connected us up with this very nice executive, and then meantime, we're going to follow through with him as well. So Dave Edison and Elaine and I are finishing up the pitch video for the Showrunners Network, which is 6 series we're doing with Rockneil Bannon and Mark Fergus and so on and so forth, Joe Dougherty. And so that's really a cool thing. So we're going to send that off to this executive probably tomorrow. And
I've been working on it. I'm rendering a new version for you now.
Great. Good. And meantime, we were pitching Space Command to her. We were pitching the Showrunners Network. We were pitching Subversive, which was the miniseries Elaine is doing with Lord Peter Hain. We're both doing it. It was very interesting to hear her take on what their target audience is, 18 to 30, basically, 18 to 35, and what they were looking for, which is, kind of wacky. And but she was very nice, and we're going to move forward. So we'll see where it all leads. But we talked about Magic Time, and it was a very, very pleasant conversation. She's very sweet. And beyond that, we're working on Ashes. We're prepping to shoot the next episode of Space Command. We're building alien sets. We're building alien creatures. We're buying all this stuff from Ender's Game and Falling Skies and Pacific Rim and so forth. And maybe we'll get a couple of big robots eventually, gigantic robots from Real Steel, which are very cool from this guy who did the Halloween thing. What else? Am I forgetting anything? It's just busy. But yeah, I mentioned that. And it just keeps going. It's pretty exciting. We're going to be writing the rest of the season of Space Command. Most of it's already written, but we now have to rewrite to match what we've shot so far. And I've zero complaints. The Elaine's birthday was a lot of fun. My birthday was a lot of fun. We're going to go away for a few days and recharge shortly
with our little dogs.
With our little dogs, and it'll be very, very nice. And I bought a couple of fun science fiction books for my birthday, and it's nothing, no complaints. It's all great. And we're on track. We're very much on track. And it's fun to come up with stuff and make it happen. It's fun to have a studio. So anything else, Elaine? I think so that's about where we stand. It's great to have David Bartlett working with us. It's great to have Dave Edison working with us. It's great to have all of you guys being so wonderfully supportive of us, and the Mr. Sci-Fi audience too. And there's a lot more coming down the pike. It's really amazing, by the way, just to riff off something Mark Gushwood said, it is amazing how many wonderful things are on YouTube. I mean, full features, TV specials from previous decades, audiobooks, radio shows. I mean, my favorite network really is YouTube, because there's just such a phenomenal infinity of real rarities. In the old days, you could never get a hold of most of this stuff, and now it's at the click of a button, you know. So so that's really cool, and I think it's really terrific. So so anything else, guys? I think we've come to the end of this particular evening of delight, and so stay safe, stay well, stay warm, stay cool wherever you are, and
have a wonderful time.
thank you, Judith. Thank you, and
Mark,
yes.
You saying it's fun to have a studio just sounds a whole lot like it's good to be king.
It is. It's very nice to be king. I really like it. I mean, it's such an interesting thing when you meet with these executives, and it's not up to them what I'm going to be making. It's up to me what I'm going to be making. And if they want to partner with me, if they want to take the journey with me, that's great. It makes it easier. But it's certainly they are certainly not the deciding factor. And it is a great part. I mean, when Elaine and I, you know, we were talking about how great it is at this stage of our life to have so much work to do, so much, you know, it's like we are doing the work that we love. It's very nice to be at this point. I wouldn't go back to any other point of my life. This really is my happiest time. And, you know, so it's great. And Elaine is wonderful. And, you know, I'm blessed in every way. So, no complaints at all. So I guess that's about it. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you next time. If you haven't subscribed to Mr. Sci-Fi, please do. And if you want to see Mr. Politics, a good time will be had by all.
I'll be able to do my hair. I won't look like a skunk.
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. Anything else, Elaine? No. So have a great week, guys. Take care. 3 cheers.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody. Good night.
Thanks. Have a good
Bye,
evening.
everybody.
Bye. Okay, and bye, guys. We'll talk to you next time.